Tired of spending hours on animating just one character? Learn how an AI-powered mocap can do it for you in minutes. So to start using AI mocap for your Blender animation, you'll obviously need a character. In our case, we got our character from Blender Kit, which already came in rigged, which was perfect. I only added some clothing, did some edits on it, and we were good to go. If you're wondering how to rig a character, there's a lot of add-ons online for Blender that kind of speeds up the process for you. I particularly love AutoRig Pro. It's a great auto-rigging add-on, and we'll also use it for our retargeting later. If you don't have that, there's a built-in auto-rig add-on in Blender. You just have to turn it on. It's called Rigify, and that's also a great auto-rigging add-on that you could use. So yeah, basically just have your character rigged and ready, and then once you have that, then we're ready to use some of the options that we'll present later for the AI mocap. So let's quickly talk about mocap softwares that's available online. And there's a lot of them, by the way, but there's 3 in particular that I've had experience with and I would wholeheartedly recommend. One of them being Move.ai, and it's probably one of my favorites. Move.ai gets you really good results right off the bat. It requires less cleanup, and it's actually quite simple to start doing it. So I believe you have 2 versions of this though. One being you need a multi-camera setup to get more accurate results, but the one I'm using a lot is called Move 1. They're the same company, but Move 1 lets you take or record your videos and convert them into animation with just one phone. The other one is probably one of the first ones I've tried. It's called Deepmotion, and it's a web-based software. And you simply just have to have an account, upload your video, and start converting it. So again, it's one of the first, but it's really reliable, and I would recommend this. The other one is Rococo. It's the same thing. You need to use your phone and convert it. They have their own software that you can use. I believe it's called Rococo Studio. I'm not quite sure. I haven't used it in quite some time, but I remember getting really good results from Rococo. So I would also recommend that 100%. But really, any of these software could get you, good results, right? But a lot of them still requires cleanup later on, which we'll get to after this. But one other thing I want to say is most, if not all, of these services aren't free. They do require you to buy up some credits for you to convert videos. They give you free credits to play around with. But for you to use longer videos and higher FPS videos, you do need to buy some credits. Now, in my opinion, it's really worth it because it saves you time, it saves you effort, and in turn, it saves you money if you're using it for a client. So yes, most of this are paid services, but it's 100% worth it. So let's hide this guy real quick and start cleaning up this character. There's a lot of reasons why this would do this. Mostly it's obviously values that's with the rig already. But rather than preventing that, I want to show you how to fix it as well. Because problems like these would always happen with mocap, and fixing them isn't actually quite complicated. So let's do that real quick. So first, let's select the bones that we want to fix and kind of, rotate. Because obviously if you just rotate this and then just hit key, it's not going to work because it's only keying that particular frame. So what we want to do is open up our graph editor. So let's select this bone, and it will show us in the graph editor what transforms are being affected, and we want to focus on just rotation for now. So let's start with hiding the rest of the rotation and start with X. And what you want to do is press A on everything, and then just kind of press Y and just rotate it, right? And then we want to do the same in the loop. Y axis, and just orient it the right way. Something like this. So I know it's a bit tedious right now, but this is still way faster than having to manually animate everything, And it gets you better results too. So the cleanup is just a matter of figuring out, reorienting it basically. Now that's one way. So now if we play this, it's oriented properly. Like these fingers, for example, are messed up. Another way we can do this other than the graph editor is we'll go and use the nonlinear animation tab of Blender. So what this does is, so we have our animation layer here from the retarget. What we can do is push that down, and now we can add new keyframes basically. So if I add a keyframe here and maybe rotate it upwards like that, it's going to respect that, but still preserve the retarget because it is now layered. So you just have to layer them properly. So what I would do, I would prefer the nonlinear animation way, by the way, because it's much more intuitive. So what I would do is I'll start with one layer that requires all of the fixes. So for example, this, and maybe I want this to be like that. And obviously we want this to not bend that way. And let's do the other arm as well. Oh, and by the way, make sure that you key all of this. Otherwise, just turn on auto key. And then let's do the other arm. Right. So with these keyframes on top, it will, let's delete this guy. It will then respect that keyframe and still read the mocap below it. Right? If you want to edit the layers, by the way, just select the layer and press tab. Now, one more problem that usually happens when you have mocap are jitters. Now, it's not so clear on this one, but if you do have jitters, all you have to do is press A and select all of the bones and all of the keyframes, and then press F3 to search for smooth Gaussian. So what this does is it smooths out the keyframes for you. So it gives you really clean results and it doesn't have that jitter. So make sure to do this step most of the time. And then also you can do clean keyframes. So what this does, it cleans up repetitive keyframes that doesn't change value much from the previous one. So that's also another really good way and fast way of cleaning up your mocap. And even now, automatically, you can see that the results are pretty good. So from there, really, all you have to do is start adding more and more layers to do your manual adjustments. And for example, let's say I want this head to, kind of bop. I just add a new layer and add that animation of it bopping around. That's it. It's really straightforward. And let's do a quick recap here to show the entire process. So again, one, you choose a software of your choice for the mocap, follow the rules in taking the video, convert your video into an animation and export the output into Blender. And then we'll retarget the animation from that into our character. And once that's done, we do a simple cleanup in the graph editor and do a smooth or Gaussian for all of the keys. And the final touches would be going to the nonlinear animation tab of Blender and adding keyframes on top to adjust the orientation and even add your own animation on top of the mocap. And that's it. In just a few steps, we got a really close to realistic animation in a small amount of time. So I hope you liked it. Let me know if you have any questions and feel free to reach out. I don't wanna hold in everything I've said. I've no regrets. For tread a low key. Tremble what a tour. Ain't nobody listening. Want to see more tips? Don't forget to like and follow for more.